I support the project, okay? I just wanted to let you know that. But I support, if people come to the city council chambers, they should be allowed to speak. Now, if these people did not, okay, but I support the project, I'm gonna vote the same way. But I just want to know, if they filled out their cards for public comment, could they speak?
President, again, a point of privilege on this. I am wanting the public to be heard. I think that they came down here in good faith. We should reconsider and give them an opportunity in a public hearing way to speak.
Mr. City Attorney? Just a reminder. Just a reminder, if the hearing is reopened, it is a fair hearing matter requiring the heightened attention of the council members to the speaker.
Good morning, thank you. Lucille Saunders with the La Brea Willoughby Coalition. Louder? Okay. You have our brochure. This shows our vibrant, diverse neighborhood. This is where I've lived for 38 years, and I got my house fought and bought through the Fair Housing Organization, and I'm still fighting for it because of what's going on with the assault to our neighborhood, which is half rental, half homeowners. You'll see it's very diverse socio-economically, religiously, etc. We have tried to work with these developers, and they have repeatedly through the years shoved this project down our throats. And when they say they have addressed our concerns, that is certainly not so. We have felt steamrolled, we have felt whitewashed, and even the planning department, if this project goes through, it's the tipping point to this industrial zone, because they're talking about changing the whole industrial block to residential.
Honorable Council Members, George Milston. This is a great project. This project has done everything that the city has asked of a project. It has gone through the neighborhood council process and received a vote of 30-2, nearly unanimous, in support of this project. It received the support and recommendation of the planning department. It received the unanimous recommendation of the planning commission. It voluntarily prepared an EIR in addition to a neg deck, which demonstrated all the impacts of the project are mitigated to a level of insignificance. The Planning Commission held a long hearing on this project. The Planning Committee held a long hearing on this project in which all got an opportunity to speak. This project is on La Brea. It is within walking distance of a metro station. It provides
the public policy concerns that Mr. Reyes has spoken about, that Mr. Cardenas has spoken about, that Mr. Rosendahl spoke about. So that is a good thing. I appreciate the council's support for the project, and I particularly appreciate Mr. Reyes's statements earlier, because Mr. Reyes chairs, and it's my hope that in the next 2 years he will continue to chair the Planning and Land Use Management Committee. I've been privileged to be on that committee for the past 6 years. It's at least 4. And I will just tell all of you this, because I know you've had a discussion today. Ms. Hahn, I'm actually speaking to you. Ms. Hahn? I'm actually speaking to you when I make this statement, that you have, whether you like it or not with respect to the matter that is before you today, you have a process here in the council that I've been privileged to be a part of for the past several years. And Mr. Reyes does a thorough and exhaustive, and as he knows, because we've talked about this, at times I think it's even too exhaustive. But it is an extraordinarily thorough process that goes on at Plum. It is there for the entire council. It is there for every district and every council member, the ones that are here now and the ones that will come soon. If you start to make set precedents, as I've heard folks discuss this morning, you will, in the coming years, find the management of land use to become more and more and more challenging at a time in the city when the city can't handle that. That's what Plum is there for. When it comes to, and I would just say this, when it comes to all of the land use management, land use impact aspects of this project, they were all taken care of before we got here this morning. I required an EIR to be performed in this matter. It was there was no law that required an EIR to be performed. I required that. The EIR was performed. The project was then downsized. An errata to that EIR was then prepared in response to the downsizing, which went through the city attorney and the planning department and was blessed by them. We increased the setbacks. We reduced the height. We redesigned the project. We shifted density towards La Brea. We redirected traffic away from the residential neighborhoods. We required a LEED standard building. All of those things were done, colleagues, in the planning process, culminating at Mr. Reyes's committee. And I just suggest to all of you, as you look forward to the next couple of years, that if you believe that this is the forum to do that, that process will suffer and the city will suffer. Mr. Reyes knows what he's doing, and you heard him make his statement earlier today, not because he has any exceptional amount of experience with this particular plot of land, but because owing to the process, he has learned this project backwards and forwards. He's seen what has happened. And I would just urge all of you, as you go forward, because this place can get pretty unruly at times, I would just encourage you, not just because it's proper as a matter of law, but because it's the right way to make public policy. To make public policy around here in an orderly fashion, use the committee systems. When this becomes a food fight in here, you might feel good about yourselves. You might like the quote that you utter at that moment, but you demean the public policy process in this city. And so for that reason, I do ask for and appreciate your support of the Plum Report. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Now, Ms. Hahn came back up on the queue.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Weiss, but I think what we saw here this morning was we got public policy in terms of affordable housing right here on the floor that we didn't get in committee. If I recall, we've gotten a couple of other concessions right here on the floor. I remember something before on a relocation amount with some tenants who were about to be displaced. We got it right here on the floor. And the fact of the matter is, you know, we're 15 council members. We have the public responsibility, you know, to make policy up until the very last minute. So, you know, and frankly, I don't need to hear a lecture from you about how to make public policy.
All right, can the chambers, can we have some order in the chambers? Now we have, Mr. Weiss was the last speaker, but now we've got Ms. Perry, Mr. Rosendahl, and Mr. Reyes.
And I'm not done.
I understand that. I just wanted to relate the fact that we're continuing on this matter before we take the vote.
So, and I do, and I have great respect for Ed Reyes. I have great respect for you, and I know you get a little, you know, irritated with me when I bring up issues at the last minute. And I would not be on your committee. You know, it's not an area that I would want to spend the hours that you do, and I appreciate that. I have other passions in the city that I think you all probably wouldn't spend as many hours as I do on those. But the fact of the matter is, we're 15 council members. We're elected by the people of Los Angeles to pay attention to issues. And, you know, so I kind of resent the fact that we can't bring up issues on the floor. I don't know how I'm going to vote on this yet, but I just resent the fact that we cannot ask questions at the last minute. That's our right, that's our responsibility, and I think I owe it to all the people that came to me to lobby on this matter because they felt like they couldn't get a hearing with the council member.